Well, thank you all so much for being here. And was that a hell of a speech or what? That was, man. That was a good way to start it off. You know, I didn't know exactly what the president would put in that speech, and I hoped to myself that he wasn't going to hold back, and sir, you didn't hold back. That was a hell of a way to start the next 4 years. But I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, and I know I speak for the president and for all of us, thank you, thank you, thank you for making this possible. We love you. We wouldn't be here without you, and we're going to make America great again together for the next 4 years. And the last thing I'll say is, you know, having stood outside for about 5 minutes to wave goodbye to the Bidens, thank God we moved that thing indoors because it was a beautiful ceremony and it was cold as hell outside. So, sir, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
No, he's right. I looked, I said, oh, look at this beautiful sunny day. We blew it. And then I went outside and we were freezing. You would have been very unhappy. The sun was very deceptive, I will tell you. It is cold out. And I'm sort of saying, you know, that was so beautiful today. Maybe they should do it there every 4 years. Does that make sense? I don't know. Because, you know, the outdoor thing is really good, but it gets a little cold around this time of the year, as some people have noticed. And a lot of times they suffer through it. There was no suffering in that room. It was 72 degrees. It was perfect with the best acoustics I think I've ever heard in a room. This is not so bad either. But I just want to say, you're a younger, far more beautiful audience that I just spoke to. And I want to keep it off the record. I want to keep that off the record. Because I don't want to have all those big shots up there. I don't want to think you're more powerful than them, you look better than them, and I love you. Now, we just had a great time. We just had a great day. This was amazing. You know, when you think we took a journey, I mentioned in the speech, a lot of people said that was not a journey that was possible, and it was indeed possible. I didn't really know too much about what they were saying when they said that, but a lot of people felt it, and we hooked up with J.D. very early. I watched J.D. over a period of time. I endorsed him in Ohio. He was a great senator and very, very smart. The only one smarter than him was his wife. That was, I would have chosen her, but somehow the line of succession didn't work that way, right? But now she's great and he's great. This is a great, beautiful couple and unbelievable career. I just said to him, you are very upwardly mobile, because he hasn't been doing it that long, but he picked it up so quickly. Remember, the first week was a little bit like the fake news was hitting him really hard. And I said, ooh, this may be tough, but after that, it was smooth sailing for him. He took on everybody. He took on the meanest. I don't want to use the word corrupt because we're into a new system, so let's wait till the corruption begins, because it will. But he took on some pretty mean people, and he handled it well. I want to also congratulate Mike Johnson for the job that he's doing. Steve, we gave him a majority of almost nothing, and then I said to make it tougher on him, let me take 2 or 3 of the people, right? I said he'll only have to suffer with that for about 3 months. How are they doing, by the way? Are they? Is that moving along?
Totally unified.
I said, do you mind if I take this one, that one, and a couple of others? He didn't mind. He can handle it. No, he's a man that's liked by everybody. I've never met a man like this. You've got how many is it, 219 or 220 or something? 220. And of the 220, 219 really like him. I noticed he got 1 negative vote once about 2 weeks ago. But I think even 220 like him, if you want to know the truth. And that's very unusual. I know a lot of nice guys in Congress, and they have 35 people that hate him. So if you have 35 people that hate you and you only have 1 or 2 or 3 votes, you'll have 5, I think. But that's going to be like, you know, the good news is when we get to that 5 number, it's going to feel like a massive majority. You could be really nasty to a couple of them at least, you know? So it's going to feel like hitting your head on the wall and stopping. It feels so good to stop. But he's done a fantastic job. And Steve Scalise is, he's our hero because, you know, I was with him. You talk about being shot. I was with him. He got some bad ones, and his incredible wife, and she really loves him. You know, you never know about that. I've been with other people. They were doing poorly, and the wife is like looking at her watch. She can't get out of the hospital fast enough. How's he doing? Oh, I don't know. He's all right. That woman was a mess. She was crying and crying. No, they're going to take him. They're going to take him. I told Steve when he finally woke up, it was a while too. The doctor told me it was the most blood they've ever transfused in any patient. They've never done anything like it. And here he is, the picture of strength, right? And he's been a great friend of mine, right? With a family, because of a family. And what a job you did. It worked out pretty much better than we even thought, right? And I did have a couple of things, you know, to say that were extremely controversial. And between JD and Melania and anybody else that heard, please, sir, it's such a beautiful unifying speech. Please, sir, don't say these things. I said, I'm telling you, it's going to play great. They say, you're right. For this group of people, it's going to play great. You're the sir. Calls me sir when she's angry. No, I'm only kidding. I better say I'm only kidding, or the press is going to pick that one up loud and clear. No, but she said, no, I think it would be terrible. It's such a nice speech. I think it's, you know, it all depends on your delivery. How was the delivery? Was it good? But she said it's such a beautiful speech. You can't put things in there that you were going to put in. And I was going to talk about the J6 hostages, but you'll be happy because, you know, it's action, not words that count. And you're going to see a lot of action on the J6 hostages. See a lot of action. And I was going to talk about the things that Joe did today with the pardons of people that were very, very guilty of very bad crimes, like the UnSelect Committee of Political Thugs, where they literally, I mean, what they did is they destroyed and deleted all of the information, all of the hearings, practically not a thing left. They deleted all the information on Nancy Pelosi having turned down the offer of 10,000 soldiers. You wouldn't have needed 10,000. You could have had 500, and it would have stopped. Because we may have had 1 million people that day, the people that were there. You don't see any photographs, but we have a lot of great photos. But you don't see those photographs. They don't put them in. They show the people at the Capitol. But I was talking about that. I was going to talk about that. They said, please don't bring that up right now. You can bring it up tomorrow. I said, how about now in front of the I'll bring it up right now. You know, this little time delay is good because we're getting great reviews on the speech. Now watch. They'll take the speech and say, I didn't like it because he left there and he's talked to people. But we're giving you a little more information than we gave upstairs. But no, they pardoned a lot of people. They pardoned, before we even get to today, they pardoned, 33 murderers, absolute murderers, the worst murderers. You know, when you get the death sentence in the United States, you have to be bad because they don't give it much. And he pardoned almost everybody having a death sentence. And if you went through the crimes that were committed, you wouldn't even believe them, the level of violence, the people that were killed, the innocence of people that were killed, and children killed by these people. And he pardoned them for whatever reason. He spared them, but they didn't spare the people that they killed. And, you know, who knows what happens in the future. It's one of the worst because a lot of times they let them out early after that. You know, they say you're going to be in for life, but then all of a sudden they get let out for good behavior, and then they go on a rampage. You know, it's one of those little things, right? But I was going to talk about that. But I was really going to talk about the level of, you know, what's going on. Why are we doing this? Why are we trying to help a guy like Milley? Why are we doing Milley? He was pardoned. What he said, terrible what he said. Why are we helping some of the people? Why are we helping Liz Cheney? I mean, Liz Cheney is a disaster. She's a crying lunatic and crying crying Adam Kinzinger. He's a super crying. I never saw the guy not crying. He's always crying. I looked at him. I remember years ago he was actually on my side. And then one day, you know, when you don't want to kill people in wars, they turn against you. Liz Cheney hated the concept of not going to war with everybody. Let's kill everybody. Let's spend a lot of money on military equipment, you know, where her father works, right? And but what she did was incredible. Think of it. They destroyed and deleted all of that information that went on for almost 2 years against Trump. And the reason they did, because it was all false, like the person
No Hezbollah.
strangled.
No, nobody spoke. No Muslims. Very good.
One of the toughest human beings I think I've ever seen. I actually had a friend saying, please don't change that, sir. You are the coolest sucker in history. Remember, she said, I put my hands around his neck because he wouldn't go to the Capitol. Made up fiction. And I was rebuffed. And the guy on the right is a massive weightlifter, probably stronger.
The audio is low from their side, not our side.
Possibly stronger than me, slightly younger than me, like, I won't say how many years because I don't want to talk about that, but a lot of years. But I had a friend that said, why are you disputing that story? That's the coolest story I've ever heard. That I would attack a karate champion, get slightly rebuffed, and then throw my arms around a guy with a neck about this big. Even though there are bars, you know, there are bars.
What he's talking about?
Do that anyway. So I wanted to talk about that. But all of that stuff got deleted. And the reason it got deleted is they were all caught in lies. You know, Secret Service testified, and they said it didn't happen. Actually, the two guys were very embarrassed. They're suffering because their friends are saying, did Trump really do that to you? But they gained a whole new respect for me. But it was just make-believe stuff, and there were a lot of make-believe stories made up. So rather than suffer the wrath, like the story with Nancy Pelosi, I offered her 10,000 soldiers. She knows it. She admitted it on tape that her daughter made. She's a videographer or whatever you call her, which I'm glad she is. Oh, she can't be in good stead with Nancy. But Nancy said it was my responsibility as she's leaving the Capitol. She said it was, and it was. She's in charge of security at the Capitol, but I offered them up to 10,000 soldiers, even more. One time I said more, as many as you need, but you needed 400 or 500. If 4 or 5, you 10,000, that would be more than the number of people there by lot. But we offered her 10,000. Think of it, 10,000 soldiers. In other words, J6 wouldn't be J6. There would have been no J6. But she rebuffed them. She didn't like it. No, she didn't like it. Maybe she wanted that to happen. But she's guilty as hell. And now we would have to go through the process because they destroyed all evidence. They deleted everything. There's virtually nothing left. The other fake story and so many other fake stories. And many people came out on our side. And those people now would got to find them. There's nothing left. So that's a criminal offense. If that were a civil case, it would be a if offense. If that happened civilly where you did that, it would be a criminal offense. So I decided I'm not going to make this speech complicated. I'm going to make it beautiful. I'm going to make it a unifying speech. And then when they said we have a group of people that are serious Trump fans, I said, this is the time to tell those stories. He knows. So anyway, but seriously, I'd like to, I think it was a tremendous success. I think we're very lucky we put it inside because it is really cold. We just went to the helicopter out of respect, something that's taken place for a long time. I guess it's as old as helicopters. You used to get into a stagecoach, now you get into a helicopter. Times change. But it's pretty old custom. And it's a beautiful custom, actually. It's a beautiful custom. I wish we could have had a better relationship. I wish we could have had a better relationship between Republicans and Democrats. I was with Senator Schumer. I said, Chuck, I think it's time we all start getting along a little bit because it doesn't make sense. I mean, we literally never get a Democrat vote. They never get a Republican vote, almost. And although there is a bill coming up very shortly that we have a lot of Democrat votes, right? That's going to be a very beautiful bill. We're going to have a deciding, I would say, within a week or so, I think. And it's going to be a very good bill. You all know what I'm talking about. So I just want to thank you all for being here. You have been our fans from day one. All these people all over. You've been our fans. This has been there's never been anything like it. There's never been anything like it. This has been a movement like no movement ever in history for probably any country, let alone this country. You know, if somebody's running for president, and if they go out and they announce they're going to Arizona, they're going to Nevada, they're going to someplace, if you have 200 or 300 people, that would be standard. Ronald Reagan would go out. I mean, outside of the last couple of days where people get a little excited, but even then you have a couple of thousand people. But if you're going to go someplace, any place, any one of the swing states, any one of the other states, I mean, how about the non-swing states? We won Alabama by 48 points. We won Tennessee by massive numbers. Wyoming, we won by numbers that are, nobody's ever seen numbers like that. And, you know, places like California, we did great, but when they send out like 38 million ballots, nobody knows where the hell they're sending them, and then they come pouring back, the whole thing. You know, they passed a law in California that if you work in an election bureau and if you so much as ask for a voter ID, if you say, sir, ma'am, could I please look at your voter ID? They have the right to put you in jail. You're a criminal. Can you believe that? There's only one reason that happens. They want to cheat. So they had it where voter ID wasn't accepted. But now if you even ask for it, this is seriously a bill that was just signed, passed in their legislature, and it was signed. And I think when we get things cleaned up and we get back to a little bit of normalcy, I'm going to ask the speaker to really get involved, because I think we would have won the state of California, because, you know, if you look at my numbers with Hispanic, we're at 56%. And we won the Texas border that had never been won. As the governor said, he's doing a good job, the governor, by the way, of Texas. But as the governor said, it hasn't, oh, did I get lucky? Did I get lucky? Supposing I said, you know, he's not here, but the governor of Texas has done a terrible job. Wow, look at you. You mean we couldn't get you up in the front row? I tell you. Supposing I said, JD, the governor of Texas, he's not doing his job. You heard what I said. See, I didn't know you were there. I said he's doing a great job. He's doing a phenomenal job. But now you're going to have a partner that's going to work with you, because you didn't have, not only didn't he have a partner, he had people selling the wall, right? We have a fence structure that we worked on, the governor worked on with me. And I didn't love it, to be honest with you. I wanted a nice precast concrete, you know, 40, 50 feet high, like a beautiful, could have been a T-shape, Y-shape. I love construction. I wanted that sucker to go up maybe 50, 60 feet. It would have looked beautiful, a nice Y shape. And they said, the problem is, sir, they climbed that like a rabbit. I said, what do you mean? No way. And they brought some of these guys out. They climbed it like... And the other thing is you hit it with acid and the thing will disintegrate. You know, they have things for concrete. So they needed very hardened steel, very special steel. And then they needed 7,000-pound concrete inside that steel, inside that steel. And then they have a rebar that's the toughest steel made. Very hard to cut. So this is why very little is cut. I mean, it's right. And then they put a anti-climb panel on top. I hated it. I said, it's so unattractive. And I said, why would that work? I don't believe it works. And I went to watch the Border Patrol, gave a display. We had actually 2 sets of climbers. The guys that climb up walls with drugs on their back, I mean, they got like 60, 70 pounds of drug, and they go as fast as you can walk. They go bip, bip, bip. Or we have Mount Everest type climbers. And honestly, the drug guys were much better. I couldn't believe it. The drug guys blew them away, right? But it's true, the anti-climb panel, they couldn't get around it. They just couldn't. You didn't have it. So sometimes you sacrifice beauty for efficiency. And we did. So we built this wall, and we built over 500 miles of wall. That's why we had such good numbers. The famous chart that came down very thankfully. The chart that came down on my right, Governor, had I not looked over there, I'm not speaking right now. You might be speaking here. You want to know the truth? You, JD, we've got a lot of great people in this party, but I got very lucky, but we had the best numbers we've ever had. But I bought, you know what happens is when you fill it up, it's like water. You fill it up. Now we have 571 miles of wall. And they would always say, you know, when we renovated a wall, so there'd be like a piece of plywood sitting there for 60 years, or a 2x4 sitting for 60 years on the ground and rotting. Because, you know, and they'll say, you didn't build a new wall. Here we're building 50 feet up in the air, 30 feet sections, 50-foot sections, all steel, all concrete, all everything. And all, by the way, they don't even want me to say this, but what the hell, doesn't take that long time. They're all wired for all of the equipment. We put wires in everything so they can easily wire for all the different types of equipment. And if there's a doubt, we have a wire. Whenever we just look, you just find the wires all over the place up top, so we can just hook it up. We don't have to have wires on the outside, which wouldn't do too well, right? So anyway, so we built an extra 200 miles of wall, and the governor wanted to buy it. He tried to buy it, and they wouldn't sell it to him. He wanted to put it up himself. Could have been done in 3 to 4 weeks, 200 more miles, because when you do it, now they just keep going further out, further out, further out, getting around. So we did an extra 200 miles, and it was all bought, and they announced that they're not going to put it up. And that's when I realized they wanted open borders, and that's when I realized that people are going to come pouring through the wall like nobody's ever seen before, but you've seen it. A lot of you are here because of that. I made it my #1 issue. They all said inflation was the #1 issue. I said I disagree. I think people coming into our country from prisons and from mental institutions is a bigger issue for the people that I know. And I made it my #1. I talked about inflation too, but you know, how many times can you say that an apple has doubled in cost? I'd say it, and I'd hit it hard, but then I go back to the fact that we don't want criminals coming into our country. We don't want the jails of every country in the world virtually being deposited into the United States, and that man had to suffer with it. And he did an unbelievable job. I'll tell you, he was a very popular governor, but now he's like an unbeatable governor because of your border policies. He was fantastic. And he really was. So. Governor Abbott is he's a great man, great leader. And, but it did make him very more, did you do it? You didn't do that for politics. You did it because you wanted to do the right thing. But I'll tell you, it sure as hell worked for politics too. It's self-preservation, that's right. But no, because the people are demanding it. The people of Texas are demanding it. The people are demanding it all over. So anyway, so we built it, and they wouldn't let us use it. They wouldn't let the governor use it. And other governors, they wouldn't let him use it. But he was the leader of the pack and did a great job. And then we heard about a month ago that not only wouldn't they let us use it, they were selling it, they were going to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar. Now, 5 cents on the dollar then, but today it would cost more than twice as much to build because we bought it like 6 years ago. And it was just sitting on the ground, and that does not do well for the whole thing. But it was just sitting on the ground, and I heard about it, and I called the governor, and I called a lot of people, your attorney general. And here's the story. They were going to buy it, and these are great business people. They were going to buy it for 5 cents on the dollar or less, and they were calling us up, we'll sell it to you for 200 cents on the dollar. In other words, it will cost you twice as much, so it's 200 cents on the dollar. I said, can somebody explain that to a judge? I mean, how corrupt is that? You'd think they'd say, maybe we'll sell it to you for 20 cents, 30 cents, but not 200 cents. So they were going to buy something for 5 cents, and they were going to sell it to us for a fortune. They were going to make it would be, they'd have it down that in Fortune magazine, they'd put it of the deal of the year, okay? You buy something like that. But it was so corrupt and so horrible. And when we told that to the administration, they didn't care. They just kept going forward. They couldn't care less. And they kept going forward. They knew that they were trying to sell it back to us. They would have sold it back to us. You would have ended up buying it. You would have paid probably 50, 60 cents, who knows. But they were going to use it for scrap metal, but then they made a much better deal. They could just buy it and sell it to us for 15, 20 times what they paid. 20 times, think of it, like 20 times what they paid. And we wouldn't let it happen. And the governor with his attorney general, Ken Paxton, they made a fantastic, they're a good lawyer. He's pushed around pretty good by people, right? I said, you got a great attorney general. They should leave him alone. He was with me. But Ken and the governor went to court, and a judge actually became incensed and actually called for an investigation. How could a thing like this happen? So he stopped it. So we're waiting to put that wall up. And now that you have a new president, that wall will go up so fast. The governor will complain, sir. This is Greg Abbott, sir. Please, the wall is going up too fast. Please don't do that. You know the story about winning. No, we're going to win too much. We're winning too much. Please, let's stop. People always love that one. We'll do this with the wall. Governor Abbott calls, sir, the wall is going up too fast. We can't take it. We just can't take it. No, I think you'll be very happy if the wall goes up too fast, right? But we'll get that done, and we'll work with you on that. But it was a great decision by a great Texas judge, right? And it was beautiful, beautiful to watch. He stopped them right in their track. I mean, they were literally loading this stuff onto trucks. It was terrible. Honestly, it was terrible. And he wouldn't take it. So I'm so glad I mentioned that they have a really good governor in Texas. And I swear, I didn't know he was here. I swear to you, it sounds like a setup. I didn't know you would end. Did I get lucky? I said the right thing. Because there have been moments when I wasn't so happy with him, you know? But not too many, I can tell you that. So anyway, it's good to see you too, Governor. Great. But I just want to thank everybody. You've been incredible. I recognize so many of you. It's so crazy. But this has been a long journey. This was a journey that started in 2015, probably started 20 years before that. People used to say, you're going to run for president? You're going to run? And I always said, no, I don't want. And then one day I said, let's give it a shot. And what I talked about then was the border, too. I think it probably was the #1 issue for me. Back in 2015, 2016, I talked about the border. And now I talked about the border, but this border is much worse. We fixed the border. It was totally fixed. There was nothing to talk about. 2020, by the way, that election was totally rigged, but that's okay. It was a rigged election. You know the only thing good about it? It showed how bad they are, showed how incompetent, and frankly, historically, this is a much bigger event. If that would have gone like it should have, the bad thing about it is some bad things happen, like a lot of people in our country that wouldn't be in our country right now. So you know that's the bad part. But I will say that it started in 2015, and right from the beginning, we went to the top. The day one, they announced Trump, and Trump went to #1 and stayed there for the whole primary. And then we took on Hillary. She didn't look too happy today. We took on Hillary. A very nice person, but we took on Hillary and we defeated Hillary, and then we did much better the second time in 2020. You know, we got millions more votes. We got millions, like 10, 12 million more votes than we did the first time. No president has ever gotten that many more votes. I got like 9 million more than anybody else had ever gotten, and they said we lost. And because of that, I said to Melania, what do you think? And she said, you want to do this again? And had we lost, and had I thought we lost, I wouldn't do it again, because that's like the ultimate poll, right? But I knew how well we did, and this time we made it too big to rig. It was so big. They tried like hell in the butt. They tried to do it, and around 9:02, they gave up. Last time they did bad things, but this time they just said, yes. You know, I don't know if you saw, Mr. Speaker, in Washington, they had placards. They were all set to march. They thought it'd be closer. A gentleman asked me, a very respected gentleman asked me yesterday, how come the polls were so wrong? They showed you winning, but not in a landslide. I said, because people that are true Trumpers are so angry at the whole polling system and at the writers, the fake news, that they don't want to talk to anybody. So when you call somebody from Trump, who are you voting for? They say, it's none of your business. I'm not telling you. And that was probably 40% of the people they called. So they would discard that one, and they didn't show that. And then when the election happened, you know, the vote came, and it was much different, much higher than we're going to win, but they really thought, they couldn't believe the one man said, I mean, it was so much higher. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by millions of votes, which is hard for a Republican. I'll tell you who came through. The unions came through. The auto workers were great. The Teamsters were great. The firemen were great. I think almost every union was great. The only one that weren't great, although Sean was great, and the Teamsters, Sean O'Brien, the head of the Teamsters, was fantastic. But generally speaking, the head of the union was against Trump, but the union would be with us for like 80–85%. Look what we did with the auto workers in Michigan. Look what we did with the Teamsters. The Teamsters were unbelievable. They were a solid Democrat vote, and they voted for Trump. So we had a great experience. Now we have to go to work and get it done, because we have to do something that's going to be great. We're going to turn our country around, and we're going to turn it around fast. And I think this was a better speech than the one I made upstairs, okay? I think this was better, JD. I think this was much better, and I got to see my friend. So, Governor, take care of yourself. You call me, we'll start working. You know what that means with him? He's going to be calling me tomorrow morning at about 6. And I said, how about next week? You call me, and we're going to get it started real fast. We'll really help you a lot. You've done a fantastic job protecting something which is, it's not supposed to be for the states. And amazing job you've done. Thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody. And I have a First Lady who's been incredible. She's been incredible. I shouldn't say this. I'm going to get hell when I say this, but her feet are absolutely aching. You know, those heels. And we thought we were leaving. We were going home. Sir, would you be able to go down and say hello to some of your other fans that are here? I said, oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Did you get to see pretty clearly the picture, I hope? Good. That's good. But because you wouldn't want to make the same speech again, right? But she said, darling, I love you so much, but my feet are killing me. I said, honey, let me just see how far it is. I asked the person. Oh, not that long, maybe 400 or 500 yards. That's 5 football fields. I said, can you make it? She said, we're going to make it no matter what. We're going to make it because we have to get, right? Right? And then we went out to the helicopter, though, just prior to this, and said goodbye. And it's a custom, and the wind is blowing like crazy. And with the hat that she's wearing, she almost blew away. We almost lost off. She was being elevated off the ground. She almost blew away. No, so we all appreciate it, because you've been a great First Lady, a beautiful and a great First Lady. And they love our First Lady. You know, JD, whenever I make a speech, I see hundreds of times, we love our First Lady, we love, and they do, and they should. She's great. So I just want to thank you very much. I just want to thank everybody. And I felt that, I said to JD, should we give him the A treatment, the B treatment, the C, the D, or the F? You know what the F is? Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye. I gave you the A+ treatment. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Governor. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Gets here. The first thing I want to say, 6 in the morning, I'm walking in darkness up G Street on my way to meet the boss and the troops at church, and I'm seeing every one of you in line. And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't get the memo that said it's too cold to be outside. And I know Donald Trump won this election, but that kind of grit that you show standing out there is why he won. So, applause right. Now, I'm going to be quick here because we got a bunch of folks coming. But I'm going to tell you a little story, and it's called James Brown. James Brown meets Ronald Reagan in Trumpland. And it starts like this. Once upon a time, when I was a high school senior, back here in Washington, I got to check off the first thing on my bucket list, which was go to a James Brown concert at the Howard Theater. Anybody here, D.C., know the Howard Theater? It's long gone. Beautiful place. James Brown, you know as the King of Soul, but he was also called the hardest working man in show business. And James Brown and Donald Trump were actually good friends. And there's a story for the fake news. I don't know if you want to report this, but there's a rumor going around in 1999 when James gave the entertainment in Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve, he taught the boss how to dance. You can print that fake news because that's what you do. So why am I talking about this? Because Donald John Trump, like James Brown, Donald John Trump is the hardest working president in history. And today he starts working for you. You know, he got elected because he was on the right side of the issues. But it was also because he outworked everywhere. Now, where does Ronald Reagan come into it? Ronald Reagan said, personnel is policy and good personnel is good policy. Donald Trump is the spear, but he has assembled a beautiful team to do everything he wants to get done. Do you want secure borders? Do you want deportations? Do you want to stop the flow of fentanyl? Do you? Yeah, people like Tom Homan, Christine Nome, and El Supremo Stephen Miller. That's the personnel that's going to help Donald Trump do that. Back there, we got Chris Wright and Doug Burn. They're the twins on Drill Baby Drill in the cabinet. They're going to get that done for you. And we're going to stop the wars out there. And Donald Trump's going to do it with the help of people like Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, and Steve Witkoff, who just helped negotiate the hostage release. And Pam Bondi, you know Pam Bondi? Yeah? Kash Patel? Yeah? What do you want them to do at the Justice Department and FBI? Clean that place up? What do you think? You see Fauci got pardoned today? Yeah. Yeah, well, as many of you know, they sent me to prison for 4 months for defending the Constitution. And I can tell you, with all honesty, I never met anybody in prison who did as bad stuff as those people. Fauci, Merrick Garland, Alvin Bragg. Time for a little accountability, perhaps. And lastly, I'm going to be a small part of the big trade and manufacturing team. You're going to see new folks, shining stars, like Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, Scott Bessent at Treasury. These men are giants in the world, and they're going to be with veterans like Jameson Greer and Kevin Hassett. And we with Donald Trump as our commander-in-chief, are going to protect you from the unfair trade that ravages this country, steals our jobs, steals our factories. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, I got one thing left on my bucket list here. Maybe you can help me out. I'm taking a risk here trying this. But I've gone to so many rallies and watched the boss, and I've always wanted to feel what it was like to be on stage as him when the crowd went absolutely wild. So why don't you warm yourselves up, get ready for the boss, and let me hear you say what you're going to do for Donald Trump. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on. All right, you are officially warmed up. I'm Peter Navarro. I am happy to be with you. You, the deplorables, we love you.
Please welcome to the stage, Kellyanne Conway.
Wow, happy Inauguration Liberation Day. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of 2024 began in 2016, when this country had a hunger for change, looking for someone to upend the establishment here in Washington, and to restore our confidence in a government that's for the people, by the people, and of the people. And you asked for a presidential candidate, a leader, who had an appreciable amount of accomplishments, but who could come to Washington owing nothing to no one. And that's what he did. Yes. President Trump is a metaphor for this country's greatness, defying the odds, pushing back on the naysayers, confounding the critics, and not backing down, never surrendering. But the story of 2016 and 2024 is not just about Donald J. Trump. It's about you. You answered the call. You showed up. You spoke up. You stood up. And you put up. And he will be here soon to thank you. But I wanted to come here today to tell you that I don't believe what they say about books and movies, that the sequel is often not as good as the original. I think this sequel is going to be kick-ass better than the original. One of the best things President Trump has done, and there are so many, is change the conversation, change the culture, and just change the way people look at politics. And the reason he did that was in 2016, he saw everywhere he went, the crowds would get larger, the passion would intensify, the red hats would grow in number, and the throngs of people who would come the night before, the day before, the morning of, just to be a part, not of a conventional political campaign, but a true movement of men and women and children from across this great nation who wanted to be there and be part of something bigger than all of us. To stand up and say, this is our country, we kneel for the Lord, we stand for the flag, we don't confuse the two, and we're here because we believe in those three words that President Trump said every time. Secure the border, respect law enforcement, cut your taxes, repeal, replace Obamacare, get rid of Common Core. And yes, and this time, in 2024, you were there again. But so were so many Americans who had never voted or had never voted Republican. That's the magic of Donald Trump. President Trump, thank you. President Trump has done away with all these acronyms: CRT, BLM, ESG, DEI. Ladies and gentlemen, the acronym of the day of the term is USA. USA! You got it. People in Washington love to fight. They love to fight. He's not fighting with Washington. He's fighting for you. And that's why you fight. So continue to stand up and speak up and show up and put up. And ladies and gentlemen, whether you were for him on day one or you or people you know did it on November 5th, 2024 for the first time, keep saying welcome. Let's bring more people into this movement. This is an optimistic, positive, forward-looking time for our nation, for our children, for our grandchildren, for our veterans, for the forgotten man, the forgotten woman, the forgotten child. President Trump, never forget, did not need to do this. He did not need to do this. He already had everything that people who go into politics want. Money, fame, brilliant, beautiful wife, golf anytime he wants. He did this for the people. And as we all know, he dodged a bullet, but ladies and gentlemen, the whole country dodged a bullet in not having Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris as our presidents. Welcome. Again, happy Inauguration Day, and we're just part of the warm-up band for the main act, Vice President J.D. Vance, and 45-47, President Donald J. Trump. God bless you, and God bless the USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Congressman Dr. Ronnie Jackson.
All right. Welcome, America, to the greatest day ever. I don't have to tell anybody in this room, these are my favorite people on the planet right here. You guys are the MAGA warriors. You guys, thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Well, I also don't have to tell you there's a new sheriff in town, right? Donald J. Trump was right about everything. Everything. I've known him for a long time. I was blessed to be his physician and work in the White House side by side with him. I was blessed enough to be with him on January 20, 2017, 8 years ago. I spent the day with him. I watched him give his inaugural address. And I'll tell you, I was extraordinarily blessed to have just come from the Capitol, where I had one of the most satisfying 2 hours of my entire life, when I get to listen to President Trump talk about how horrible this country has been treated, and all of us have been treated, and the horrible things that have been done to all of us.
Yeah, I'm here.
This last administration for the last
You want some
4
pizza?
years,
What,
and
you wanna
how
hear
he
me
was
chewing
gonna fix it
pizza?
all, and he did
Come
it
on.
right there with Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, and everybody else, Kamala Harris. They had to sit there and listen to it, and I loved it. Loved it. I'll tell you what, you know, I thought for sure, I mean, I've always said that the 45th President of the United States is the absolute best president that this country has ever had. But you know what? I think the 47th President's gonna be even better. We are in for a change. This is a great day. How many of you out there think this is one of the best days of your entire life? Absolutely it is. We had one chance to get this country back. We were headed down a path of destruction that we would never, ever recover from, I promise you. And we have been given a second chance in the form of Donald J. Trump. He's here, he's back, and he's gonna fix what's broken. We're going to get our border back. We're going to stop the illegal immigrants and the cartels that have laid devastation to this country. We're going to lock them up. We're going to get rid of them. We're going to get our economy back. We're going to get our military back. We're going to get our federal government back. We're taking it all back. This is a great time to be an American. This is a great day to be an American. And I just wanted to come here, and I can't wait till he gets here to talk to all of you guys. I want to thank you for what you've done, because he got elected because people like you got out and you voted, and you took neighbors who've never voted to the polls, and we all voted, and there was an overwhelming mandate in this country for Donald Trump to come in here and to take this country back. And so I know we're all excited to be here today. It's going to be super exciting when he gets here in a minute. I just wanted to come up here and tell you how much I love you, how much I appreciate you. I want to say God bless you, God bless the United States of America, and God bless Donald J. Trump. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
What a great day to be an American. I have to admit, it's a little surreal to be back in Washington, D.C. right now. 8 years ago, I was one of the very first staffers to go into the White House for President Trump's first term. And today, because Donald Trump believed in me, defended me, I stand before you as the youngest governor in the country. More importantly, I stand here as someone who absolutely loves this country and is so thankful we finally have a president that is back in the White House that will fight for each one of us. My youngest son, George, is a little tired of hearing me be called the youngest governor in the country. The other day, he asked me, he said, "Mom, you're the youngest governor in the country?" I said, "Yeah, George." He said, "Wow, those other governors must be really old." No offense to my colleagues. Whether you think I'm too young or you think they're too old, Republican governors have been holding the line while we waited on Donald Trump to get back to the White House. And ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. We now have a fighter back at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and I could not be more excited. The reason I'm so excited to see Donald Trump back in the White House is because I know he's a president who absolutely loves America. Not even an assassin's bullet could keep him down and stop him from continuing to fight for each one of us. Over the course of the 2.5 years I had the privilege of serving President Trump, I got to travel with him literally all over the world, seeing firsthand just how much he loves this country. And on one particular trip, it was unlike anything we'd ever done before, and probably any of us will ever do again. Some of you have heard this story, but I want to remind you of who Donald Trump is at his core. We boarded Air Force One in complete and total darkness. There were no lights on the plane, no lights on the runway. And 12 hours later, on Christmas night, when we touched down in war-torn Western Iraq, again, a similar scene. No lights on the runway, no lights on the plane. No one knew that the President of the United States had traveled around the world on Christmas night until we got there. And the President walked in to a dining hall that was packed with troops, men, women from all over the country. Every demographic you can imagine represented in that room in that moment. And when he stepped in and surprised the men and women of our military, it was a sight and a scene and a sound that I know I will never forget. People chanting in perfect unison, an absolutely unbelievable picture of what makes America incredible. Those men and women cheering, chanting over and over and over again, USA, USA, USA. And there was a young soldier in the back of the room, and he said, "Mr. President, I re-enlisted in the military because of you." And the president said, without missing a beat, "And son, I am here because of you." We finally have a president who will stand up for our country and that will protect and fight for the men and women who wear the uniform and give us the freedom so we easily enjoy. That young soldier came up to me and he tore the patch off of his shoulder and he placed it into my hand and he said, "Sarah, we are in this together." Ladies and gentlemen, that young man and everyone that has served before him, everyone that will serve after him, deserves to know that we have a leader that loves this country and will do everything he can to make it great, and that's exactly what we have in Donald J. Trump. I've had the opportunity to stand behind a microphone and defend and celebrate this president many times. But this may be the very proudest, because I know over the next 4 years, he is going to rebuild our country and make it the best that it has ever been. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting our president. Let's get to work. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage RNC Chairman Michael Whatley.
God bless America. What a great day for our country. You know, a few months ago, Donald Trump and I got on a plane in Palm Beach at 6 a.m. We flew to Phoenix. We did a rally with Charlie Kirk and the Turning Point guys. We got back on the plane. We flew up to San Francisco. Had a huge dinner there, about an hour-long motorcade back. And we're flying down from San Francisco to Los Angeles. It's about 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, 3:30 a.m. Eastern time. Donald Trump has been on a plane for 21 and a half hours. And he looks over at me and he says, "Hey, Michael, pretty cool, huh?" Pretty cool. You know, about 9.5 years ago, he came down the escalator in New York City. And to everybody's shock and dismay, he said, "I am going to make America great again. We are going to rebuild our southern border. We are going to restore our economy. We are going to keep our communities safe. And we're going to make sure that America is strong enough to protect our interests and our allies around the world." And I can say that over the last year, as we have taken that message to Detroit, to Philadelphia, to New York, to Milwaukee, to San Francisco, and everywhere in between, that man, our president, has never wavered. And here we are today, and at 12:01, right up the street,
he put his hand on a Bible and he swore an oath to make America great again. So let me ask you, and let me ask all of America, are you ready for America to be wealthy again? Are you ready for America to be safe again? Are you ready for America to be strong again? Are you ready for America to be great again? Are you ready for Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance to be the president and the vice president of the United States of America? Pretty cool, huh? Thank you, America, and thank you for everything that you did to make today a reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Congressman Byron Donalds.
Whether it was Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, or Nevada, we swept them all, and Donald Trump is president of the United States. For years, they said it wasn't going to happen. For years, they said, no, 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 it's going to be the left's way. But it was the American people who looked the craziness of the left in the eye and said, we need common sense. We need real vision. We need a country that is going to be preeminent above all others, and we need the American people to be put first. And all of you in this arena and around this country made sure Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States. Being here in Washington on January 20th is special for me. This is the day we commemorate the birthday of Dr. King. And as I was sitting in the Capitol Rotunda, as I was watching Donald Trump give the best speech ever at a presidential inauguration, it reminded me to another great speech. And Pastor Sewell in his benediction, I gotta have a talking with him because he was phenomenal. But what it said to me is that in our country, there are no perfect men. There are no perfect women. There are people who were used at a point in time in this country to put this country in position to be better than it was before. And so that's why in the Capitol Rotunda, when President Trump talked about that bullet that went through his ear, and that he is here at this time because God has placed him here at this time to make sure that the golden era of America comes through right now. So yes, we are gonna make sure that we get your prices under control and we have a great economy. Yes, we're gonna get out of stupid wars and dumb conflicts, and we're gonna have peace through strength. Yes, our soldiers are gonna be focused on their core mission, and that is to kill the enemy and to come home. Yes, We're going to have the largest repatriation force of illegal immigrants in the history of this country, because the only way you come to America is legally, following the law. All of those promises and more, they're going to be kept starting today at that very desk over there. And I got a special message, and this is for states like California and New York and Illinois. If you want to continue to have a dumpster fire form of government, if you want to continue to mislead your people thinking that your radical policies are the way forward, people like myself in the great state of Florida and Tennessee and Texas and the administration of Donald J. Trump, we are going to show you what true governance is. We are going to show you what true leadership is. And we are going to show the people in your states that they don't have to live with Gavin Newsom. They can have a Republican again in the state of California. And the last thing, because I don't want this to be about red states versus blue states, we are Americans. And the thing that will unify us is the success of our nation. When a young kid can grow up in the inner city and make something of himself, that is success. When a mom can dream about her children and they achieve something wonderful in America, that is success. When an immigrant from another country comes through the right way and they actually build something and they add to what America truly is, that is success. When we unify our efforts and we can disagree but still keep the most perfect union ever known going, that is success. Those are the common sense ideals of America. That is the leadership that Donald Trump is going to bring. And I don't care if you're in California or Florida, that is going to be the guiding principles of the United States of America. So buckle up, everybody, because we're going to be unified. We're going to get the job done. And I don't know about you, I'm kind of sick of speeches. On Capitol Hill, a few blocks from here, we are going to get the job done, or people will be moved out of the way. God bless you guys. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and their families. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Charlie Kirk.
We did it, everybody. It is hard to believe, almost surreal. For those of you that have always had the president's back throughout these last couple of years, when we were at our darkest moment 4 years ago, this is your victory. For those of you that refuse to waver, when they tried to throw our amazing patriots in federal prison, when they tried to silence this movement, for those of you that never wavered, this is your victory. For those of you that are sick and tired of seeing your beloved home be overrun by hordes of illegals, this is your victory. And no longer is this just a rally about what we say we're going to do when President Trump takes office. Now I can say what he's doing right now as we are here in this arena. As we are here right now, President Donald Trump is signing executive order after executive order, 200 executive actions and orders today, some of which include drill baby drill, curb inflation, national emergency on the southern border, and my favorite, that God created man and woman. There are no other genders besides that. No more critical race theory or diversity, equity, inclusion in our military. Our taxpayer dollars will no longer fund our kids to hate our country. It is over as of today, thanks to President Trump. And what you saw from President Trump today, which, by the way, I believe was the best inaugural address in American history. And the reason why it was the best, it was not platitudes or abstractions or empty promises. It wasn't about stuff that the DC regime wants to hear. While they were all sitting behind him, he basically said, the people in this room have been robbing you, the American people. You see, as of high noon, just an hour and a half ago, the 46th president is no longer. And And you might think it was Joe Biden, but it really was a bunch of White House staffers that you've never heard of before. Their term is over. It will go 45 Trump, a bunch of White House staffers, 47 Trump. That is how the succession will go. And what we have seen these last couple of years was the intentional destruction and obliteration of our homeland. And in just one day, we're going to understand a very simple truth, that decline is a choice. That when your country is failing, it's because our leaders have decided to allow it to fail. And President Trump, I really believe, is on a mission from the Almighty to save this country.
Look like there's only speeches. I was expecting something else.
Where he very well
What do you think?
could have been not just shot, but unspeakable things could have happened in Butler.
Are they going to bring us a speech after a speech after a speech?
The reason that they wanted to take out Donald Trump so bad,
Enough
700
speeches.
years in federal prison, every possible way imaginable, is because he brings you guys into the room. Is because he brings you into the negotiation.
That
You see,
picture is where?
This was supposed to be
Like in the corner here, look like they're
decline of the
praying.
United States of America. And just
They are taking food in
understand
different
what you are
place.
living through. You're living through a new American renaissance.
Right.
And honestly, there were a lot of people that said there's no way they'll allow Donald Trump to be president.
See, they are in different
They're gonna
place.
steal it.
The picture there in the
They're
corner.
going to use the machines. And
Look
I
like they
understand
have
all that.
lunch.
They're going to try to take him out. But never underestimate the will of the American people and the sovereignty.
Yeah, look like they have lunch somewhere. Man, if I know, I will not eat my pizza. I just finished eating my pizza. Oh, Trump, come on. Why you not telling me, man? Guys, come on. This is not right. I'm going to fire him. They are eating in my back. Yeah. Anyway, I thought really he's going to go to the office, sign some orders, but look like this will be later maybe, because remember he promised he will sign them in the first day, right? Until now he just makes a speech, and here there's speeches, and there they are eating, and this is what I'm not looking for. I don't care for speeches. I want action. Correct. This guy, he used to work for Fox News, and always he defend Trump. So Trump, he nominee him for a job. All right, guys. So I'm not going to keep listening to this. There's nothing really. I mean, just speeches. If I see that they will sign something, I will come back online. You can always follow with me. Yeah, I eat pizza. I wish I can invite you. Thank God I cannot invite them. How I can feed all those people? Oh boy. It's very cold. All right. And ice outside. I mean, the ice in the water is like, I don't know, maybe 1 inch thick, maybe more. You can't even break it. You walk in it, it doesn't break. Yeah, actually, if you want to get my pizza, you pay only for, it's for free. You pay only for shipping and delivery. You know, like those scammers, they say to you, you get this product for free, you pay only for shipping and delivery. And the naive ones, oh, wow, you know, for free. Wow, but only shipping and delivery. And they say to you, shipping costs you like, what they will send you is cost them half, like 50 cents, and they will make you pay $25 or $30 for shipping. And then when you open the envelope, you find, what is this? He already signed? No. No, if already he signed, he will, where is the, do you have a video? I am in the White House website. Look like, you know, Trump, he changed the White House website. Did you notice? Anyone notice? Let me show you. There's a change in the White House website. So if you go to the main page, this is not how it was just a day ago. I don't know how many of you noticed. See, all of this is just today. So they have even not like he changed even the website of the White House. He put the army. See it? Well, if he signed, it should be here in the news, right? Let us see the news in the White House news. There's no news yet here, you know. Presidential actions, okay. Yeah, nothing yet here. Maybe they are busy, you know, like, I mean, all the employees, they are busy with the, let me search. If his sign is going to be in his page in YouTube too, right? I don't see anything here. Let's see. Live. Inauguration. Attend president. Okay. He have another live at 7 p.m. Yeah, I don't see anything about signing yet. No. I don't think he did sign anything. But anyway, if he did, that's good. Right? You are not a cheap date? Who are you, party bug? What are you talking about? Not more in YouTube. What happened there? Yeah, well, this YouTube, well, you know what he can do. I mean, now we have a Trump, and they are in charge. They have to change the law of censoring. This is what Trump, he said. Let us see if he can do it. Because those platform, you know, they dictate what to say to you. Like, I can't even talk about, if you remember about Corona, if I say anything about Corona, they flag me right away, you know. Like, I receive a right away strike for misinformation about Corona. You have to agree with them, otherwise, you know, they will force you what to say, what not to say. In fact, today when Biden, he signed the burden for Fauci, obviously he committed crimes. Otherwise, why you will burden him? What he's afraid from? If I did nothing wrong, well, I will never be seeking a burden, right? Every of those ones who he burdened today, obviously they did something very bad to the point they need a burden from the president. A person who never commit a crime, there's no need to burden them. So by doing this action, he admit that they are a gang and they are a mafia. They were working against us, against Trump, against everybody. Otherwise, why needs forgiveness if you have nothing wrong to be forgiving? Right? Yeah. So anyway, we better finish for now. And if there is any update about signing, for me, I'm so happy. That's I hope that he will finish his residency healthy, because remember, this man is old. You know, he's not that young. Like he's healthy now and he's standing fine, but his age is not easy. So I hope he will be able to finish his presidency and will live long. We don't want him to die anytime soon. But especially now, in order to finish his job, he need to be healthy and above his job to finish, you know. So we pray for his health and the wisdom, and to be guided by God, not by the wicked people around him. Yeah, you know what? I will not be surprised if one day we found out that coronavirus was released by Biden administration from China, you know, because remember, they are the one who sponsored that laboratory. So they can cause a trouble for Trump in his presidency for the election. What do you think? You never know. They are evil. They will do anything. They are funding, you know, this Fauci is funding the laboratory. He have full charge of it. Is it impossible to release a virus? No, I don't think so. It might be a game they play so they can cause him and cause his economy, you know, an unfortunate of collapse, and people shut down houses. And Fauci, he says everybody have to wear a mask, everybody have to stay home. And then we find out that the mask, they do nothing really, it's just a garbage. And secondly, most of death they record is not have nothing to do with corona. Anyone he died, they register him as corona. I know a friend, he told me that his mother, she died. They went to take her. She died by heart attack. They did not give her to them. I said, why? They said she is registered as corona. I said, but she did not die as corona. She have a heart attack. What corona? Anyone he died, they put him as corona. And because of, you know, because hospital, they can receive extra money for any patient who have corona, even if he died. It was the biggest scam in history. They shut down roads, shut down restaurants, shut down business. And, you know, and then Trump, he is going to face election soon. And things start going wrong. You know, very filthy. Democrat is, you know, Democrat remind me of the Middle East. You know, I'm from the Middle East, where corruption is the lifestyle. The judge is a thief. The police is a thief. The president, the king, the prince, everybody is a thief. They go on TV. They give you speeches about they will make you happy. They will, etc. Blah 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 blah. We know that this is a speech. We know nothing truthful there. And because there's no freedom, everybody have to, you know, hey, thank you, Mr. King, whatever your name, you know. If you make a one post, if you make one statement, not only you will be censored, you will be disappearing. And this is the Democrat. Anyone who supported Trump, they cause him either bankruptcy or to go to jail. If you remember, just last year, I mean, a few months ago, when those Democrats, they invade the government building, and did anyone go to jail? No. How come Trump supporters, they go to jail? 20 years in jail. So Trump today, actually, he should burden every one of them, like especially the one who did nothing. Like, they did not do any violence, they did not any, you know. And then he should go after the FBI agent, because many of them, they were coming as a FBI, they are undercover FBI agent, and they are the one who were encouraging people to do things, break the doors, break the window. So it was a setup. All of this was a setup. They refuse they refuse to have National Guard to guard the on purpose, because they want this to happen so they can use it against Trump. It was all a setup. Anyway, I want to say thank you guys for being here. If we have any other news, or he will go live to sign orders, I might go live again. I hope you have a good time, and we will see if I'm going back tonight. We will see. God is willing. All right. Thank you all for being here, and until see you again. God bless. Take care.